Hello my peeps, this Algebra Nation video will cover workbook page 82, problem number square root 81.
Alright, in this problem we are going to look at graphing a system of linear inequalities. Whew, that's a mouthful, but it's actually a lot easier than it sounds. Alright, so they're going to give us two different equations. I have inequality number 1 and inequality number 2. I'm just going to label it so I can visualize it, so I can see it. Alright, I'm going to start off with inequality number 1. Now, remember, to graph, whether it be an equation or an inequality, I need to know two pieces of information. I need to have a point and a slope. Preferably, I would like to have a specific point called the y-intercept, the point that crosses the y-axis. And that's what I'm going to find right now for inequality number 1. I'm going to do that work over here. Inequality number 1. I have 3y is greater than or equal to 8x plus 12. I have to get y by itself. I have to isolate y. I have to solve for y in order to find the slope and the y-intercept. So I'm going to divide by 3 on this side, and I'm going to have to divide every term by 3 on the other side as well. 3 divided by 3 gives me 1y. Y is left over. Y is greater than 8 over 3. Does that reduce at all? Nope. There's no way for that to reduce. So I'm just going to leave it 8 over 3 x plus 12 over 3. Does 12 over 3 reduce? It reduces to 4 over 1, right? 3 goes into 12 and 3. So, or in other words, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I have 12 divided by 3 is 4. Y is by itself now. Now this looks very similar to y equals mx plus b, right? Where the slope is always next to the x, the coefficient of x, and the y-intercept, that special point that crosses the y-axis, it's by itself. It's the constant. The only difference is that this is an equal sign, this is an inequality sign. That's okay. It's the same idea. So looking here, I know the slope is the coefficient of x. The slope is the number next to the x. So my slope is 8 over 3. My y-intercept is 4 because it's that number that's by itself. So remember, that's a point now. It's a special kind of point. That's the y-intercept. It's where it crosses the y-axis. So we could actually write this as a point if you like. It's 0, 4. All right? So it's the same thing. It means the same thing. All right? Now, I did that for number 1. Let's do that for the second inequality. I'm going to do that in blue on the right. Same idea here. Nothing fancy, nothing special. 8x minus 3y is greater than 12. I have to get y by itself. I have to solve for y. All right? I'm going to see. What can I do? I need to get rid of that 8x. Let's subtract 8x on both sides. 8x minus 8x is 0. I have negative 3y left. It's greater than 12 minus 8x. Those are not like terms, so you cannot subtract. You just have to bring it down. 12 minus 8x, like that. Now I have that y. I have to get it by itself. That negative 3 is keeping it from being by itself. So to get rid of it, I'm going to divide by negative 3. Whatever I do on one side, got to do on the other side. I'm going to divide every term by negative 3. Now this is a rule that kicks into place, all right? If you ever divide by a negative on both sides of an inequality, I'm dividing by a negative on this side, and I'm dividing by a negative on this side. You have to flip the sign. So what that means is you flip the inequality sign. So it used to be greater than, now it's less than. That's all that happens. 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. Negative 8 divided by negative 3, there's no way to simplify that fraction, but I do know that a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so at least I could change it to positive 8 over 3x. All right. Remember, you can always pause this video to watch that again if you still need to catch up. All right. Now, same idea. What's the slope? What's the y-intercept? My slope is the coefficient of the x. It's the number next to x. My slope is 8 over 3 because that's the number next to the x. let's check here. My y-intercept is a number that's by itself. That's negative 4. Right here. Or you could write it as 0, negative 4. To remind yourself that that is a point. It's a special point. It's the point where your graph crosses the y-axis. All right. Now I have all the important pieces of information I need to graph. Let's get to it. I'll go back.
Yes, let's get to it. You're due a brain break. So here we go. Today's brain break. Psst, don't tell Mrs. Kostra I showed you this. I'm scared of her. She'll hurt me. Don't do this on the EOC. And whatever you do, don't tell Miss Kostra. Back to work.
Let's just graph the first one first. I always begin at the y-intercept, begin at B. I'm graphing 0, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Begin on the y-axis right here. All right, and then I have to know how to move, right? So I got to move somewhere. Now, this is
Rosemary
rise
Guerra
over
and
run.
Lisa Seidel, please report to the front office. Rosemary Guerra and Lisa Seidel, please report to the front office.
Minus 20 for the front office.
All right, so check this out. I have to rise positive 8. Do I have positive 8 spaces to go? Not at all. I'm off the grid. That's okay. Don't give up. There's still a solution for that. Remember that I could also go in the opposite direction. 8 over 3 is the same thing as negative 8 over negative 3, right? Because 2 negatives is a positive. So that's just a different way of writing the same thing. So instead of going up 8 spaces, I could go down 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But now I have to go to the left 3 spaces because now that's a negative, right? So 1, 2, 3. All right, I have my 2 points. I could graph. Let's look at our inequality. It's greater than, so I know it's a solid or a broken line. It is a broken line or a dashed line or a dotted line, a non-solid line. So I'm going to grab my piece of paper that's not a ruler, not a straight edge, and I'm going to just draw a broken, dashed, dotted, non-solid line like this. And I know it's greater than, so I have to shade above the line. If you're ever confused about, wait, what's above this line? Is it this way or this way? If you're not sure, here's a little trick. Just write your name on the line, just like you're signing the line, sign on the line, and just shade. Now look, I have to shade above the line, so I have to shade above my name. Okay, that's easy. This is the stuff above my name. Okay, done. All right, I did the first inequality. Let's do the second one. All right, same thing here. Let's begin at the y-intercept. Let's begin at the y-intercept. It is at negative 4. 1, 2, 3, right here. Right there. All right, and my slope is 8 over 3 as well. Rise over run. All right, I have to rise positive 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have to run positive 3. So that's in the right. So the right. 1, 2, 3. All right. So, I'm going to graph this line. Let's look. It's less than. It's a less than sign. So I know that I have to graph below the line. I also know that my line has to be dotted, dashed, broken, not solid, because it doesn't have that equal to underneath. Right there. All right. Oops, that was an arrow. Let's look about it. There you go. All right. It's less than, remember, because we have to flip that sign. So let's do less than. If you're not sure what's less than on this graph, what's underneath, remember the trick. Just write your name on the line. So it's less than, so I have to shade underneath my name, underneath my line. All right. So this is, remember, runaway pen. This is line number 1. This is line number 2. This is inequality 1, inequality 2. Now we have to actually answer the question. What is the solution to the system of inequalities, linear inequalities? Remember, the solution to linear inequalities is where they overlap. Where is the area where they overlap? These graphs will never overlap at all, right? So actually, there is no solution. There's no solution. Or you could do this. There's no solution to the system of linear inequalities. Whew. All right. All that work and there's no solution? It's okay. No solution is still a solution. All right. If you have any questions on what we did here today or any of the problems you've encountered, just post your questions on the algebra wall. See you next time.